Okay, Parshas Acharei Mos. V'daber Hashem el Moshe Acharei Moshe shnei bnei Aaron v'karvosim lefnei Hashem yamusu. Hashem spoke to Moshe after the two sons of Aaron died, when they came before Hashem by Yamusu. So Rashi cites the Chazal, Ma Talmud Lomar, Haya Reb Elazar ben Azariah, Moshel Moshel. To explain this, Reb Elazar ben Azariah explained with an allegory, L'chol shnichlas it's a rofeg. Person wasn't well, he goes to the doctor, Omado, al tochal tzonon, al tishkav b'tchav. Don't eat cold food, don't sleep in damp locations. A second person comes with a similar ailment. He says, don't eat cold food, don't sleep in a damp location. That you should not die as so-and-so died. So the second person who was instructed by the doctor because he had an example of what happened, that a person died, it makes it more of a reality. You know, when something is on a theoretical level or abstract level, it has been proven, so to say, a person very often feels it may not be. But if you have concrete proof that it has happened, if you don't follow instructions, it's much more impactful to the person. So what was the allegory regarding Aaron? V'yom Hashem el Moshe davar el Aaron. Ochicho. Speak to Aaron Ochicho. V'al yovam choleisa lakodesh meis laparoches. He should not come whenever he chooses to the Kodesh, to the holies, which is on the other side of the curtain, which is the holy of the holies. El pnei akaporis, asher el oron v'lo yomus. She should not die ki be'ona neiroy el akaporos, because I appear there with the cloud. I mean, the most obvious question is, he could have said daber el Aaron. What's ochicho? Speak to Aaron, your brother. We know Aaron's his brother. Especially we're speaking about after the two Bnei Aaron died with Nadav Avihu, who we know were Moshe's nephews. So seemingly the word Ochicha, your brother, is superfluous. Just take a look in Rashi. Yom Hashem el Moshe davar el Aaron Ochicha val yomus val yovo shlo yomus k'der shmei subanov, that he shouldn't die as his children died. Lo yomus shimbo humes. Now the question is, Aaron has to be told this.
Exactly.
I mean, Aaron, his levels of sensitivity are, Aaron is shokol keneged Moshe. He's the equivalent of Moshe Rabbeinu in many areas.
But not just that. I mean, he sees his sons die because of that. So, I mean, he must understand why they died, and you know, it's obviously not going to do that. So why is even the question there?
Well, if you say the reason why they died is they were more halacha b'fnei Rabbon, that they ruled in the presence of Moshe Rabbeinu, as a result of that, what they did was incorrect. Right? It's not clear why they died. Maybe because it was a slight to Moshe Rabbeinu. How do you rule in the presence of your Rebbe? How do you go there without first consulting with your Rebbe? So you'd say maybe Aaron also. Aaron also has to consult with his Rebbe. Moshe Rabbeinu, right? I mean, as Moshe was the Rebbe of Nadav Avihu, Moshe is the Rebbe of Aaron. I mean, the Torah itself was only given. It's Moshe Rabbeinu. To every Jew, Moshe is Rabbeinu, right? So you're right. I mean, whatever the reason is, we find earlier that Ki b'krovei HaKodesh, just talking as I'm thinking, that Moshe originally said, I thought that the day of the inauguration of the Mishkan has to be sanctified. Somebody has to die. Initially, I thought it would be me or you, because we thought we were the greatest. But now that Nadav and Avihu were chosen to die, we see that they're greater than we are. So why did they die? To bring about a Kiddush Hashem.
Where was that jump that someone had to die?
Because it was said to earlier to Moshe Rabbeinu that the Mishkan, when it's going to be erected on a permanent status, a Kiddush Hashem has to take place. God's name has to be sanctified.
Mishkan itself
The Mishkan,
alone is not a Kiddush Hashem?
no. It had to prove that Hashem does not.
Re-entered into that.
No. That Hashem is not a Mavatir. That God does not in any way overlook culpability. That regardless of how perfect you are, especially Nadav and Avihu, because they were more perfect, that's why they were chosen, because that was their only sin. Moshe and Aaron, they had other sins, so therefore, there's not you can't draw the Kal V'chomer. The whole idea was to draw it as this should be the Kal V'chomer. Here, this was the only sin, and you see how God dealt with him justice-wise. So a person who's flawed and blemished, there's no question, Hashem will deal strongly with him. So Moshe and Aaron, that wasn't their only sin. If they would have, right? As a result of that, they were the models of this issue. But still, I mean, Aaron has to needs a role model, needs an example.
Nobody is
a
spared.
modicum of this, that he's not permitted to go. He needs his children. If you don't want to die, as your children die, don't go there. So I think what it is Nadav and Avihu were not fools. They somehow justified it. I mean, how do you go El HaKodesh? They justified it. So just as a person has the ability to rationalize and to justify, Aaron could also justify. It will be a different level of justification, but he could justify. So if you but factually, what Hashem is saying, there's no justification. You cannot go there under any circumstance. I mean, just as your children died, and even though in their minds the justification was a basis to permit them to go there, as great as you think you are, there's no basis for justification. That's what he's saying.
Was this a form of Baal Tosef, in other words, for Nadav and Avihu? In other words, they were trying to one-up the holiness, the righteousness. They wanted to bring an extra korban.
The way the Or Chaim explains it there, that a person can reach a level of Avos Hashem that you almost, it's like the draw is irresistible. They want to be so attached to God.
Right.
Therefore, it was like almost like blindly they went.
Right.
But of course, there's something that drove them. I mean, the Gemara says, you know.
I mean, of their own ego.
I mean, at their level, it was because the Medrash says, the Yalkut, that the two of them, they were young. One was 13, the other was just about 14. They said, Musa Zakeni Melu. One of these two elders is going to die, and we're going to take over. Because they really felt that it's a new era, and Moshe and Aaron being from a different generation, you need a new perspective. So they said Mosai, but that itself, Mosai said, Medrash said, we'll see who'll die first. And they're the ones who died first, because Moshe and Aaron, their time wasn't over. They have 40 years more to or whatever, 39 years to officiate over here and to lead. So that's what he's saying. As much as you want to justify it, you say that justification wasn't valid. But Acharei, most Bnei Aaron is saying that there is no justification under any circumstance. Therefore, don't draw anything to make differentiations. Therefore, Al Yovel Al Kodesh, he should not come.
But